Dorothy's aunt, or Jane's aunt. And now how about cousins and other relatives of Jane? The nieces and nephews, where are they? We got a few. Okay, now Nola has agreed, is a niece, and has agreed to read for you what Melissa wrote, her daughter, about Jane's memories of the campgrounds and of the concerts and of life around Witwen. Two things I'm asked often is, where the hell is Witwen? And you found that. And the second thing, what goes on at this place? Well, Jane Enge and Oliver and her family had a good handle on what happened at Witwen and what this was a part of. So without any further ado, will you just be patient while Nola is gracious enough to read what Melissa wrote about her mother. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. This is how my cousin Missy imagines how her mother would tell about this special place. My first experience at Witwen Campground was in 1945. I was 15 years old and lived in Sandusky. I came along with my friends Lorraine Thomas and Darlene Fry for church camp at the Witwen Campground. We bunked in one of these buildings, had campfires, sang songs, buried our feet in the sawdust of the tabernacle. The fireflies intrigued me, and the natural background music of the babbling creek and crickets added to the ambiance. But what I really recall most vividly was not as pleasant of a sound. All we campers were peacefully sleeping when suddenly the shrillest noise you can imagine rudely awakened us. First we thought there was a fire, but quickly figured out that the whistle was coming from the creamery. This horrible sound kept going and going. Finally someone turned it off, but all we campers were running around in our pajamas here. I had assumed that one of the boys from our group pulled the whistle, maybe William Powell, but we found out the following day that some local hooligans had tied a shoe to the rope of the whistle as a prank. I couldn't imagine who those naughty kids might be. Fast forward about 10 years to 1955, and I find myself married to Oliver Enge and living a country mile from here. The tabernacle is still at the heart of the campgrounds, and the pulse of the community flows through the land. Camp meeting is held here for 1 week during the summertime. Young and old alike come from near and far and still enjoy the smell of the sawdust floor of the tabernacle. In the springtime, when the frogs start croaking, I drive down to the campground, roll down the windows of the car, and just listen to the croaking cacophony of the frog music. The 4th of July needs no introduction to this audience, I'm sure. It's everyone's favorite event of the year, and many traditions from my era are maintained. Toby's band was replaced by the community band, but you can still enjoy homemade pie, the parade, catching candy, racing with an egg on a spoon, and most importantly, the company of family, neighbors, and friends. If I go on much longer, we won't be, like the name of tonight's band, late for dinner. We'll be late for supper. But before I go, I do have one little tidbit I'd like to share with you. After several years of marriage, I did find out who those hooligans were that set off the creamery whistle. One happened to be my husband, Oliver. One of the other hooligans, his baby brother, Maury. He's the one in the audience with the red suspenders. And the last culprit, well, I've been sworn to secrecy, but maybe, just maybe, his last name is Sprecher. So enjoy your ice cream, the shade of the willow and the maple tree that I used to sit under, the smell of sawdust, and the sounds of the creek. I love these concerts and was so pleased when Dale and Cynthia, with the help of many others, brought music back to the campground with wonderful concerts virtually in my backyard. So whether you're a homesteader, surveyor, settler, or explorer, keep the history and traditions of the campground alive for me. Thank you.